Hi guys, and welcome back to my YouTube channel, Cooks by Carrie. If you're new here, I'm Carrie, and for today's Foodie Friday video, I'm sharing how to make these delicious baked apple cider donut muffins. To start off for today's recipe, you are going to need some non-stick cooking spray, flour, baking powder, sea salt, cinnamon, nutmeg, butter, light brown sugar, granulated sugar, eggs, vanilla extract, and apple cider. And this recipe comes from the New York Times. The first step for this recipe is to heat your oven to 350 degrees. Then you're going to lightly grease 2 donut pans or muffin pans with nonstick spray. Then in a medium bowl, you want to add flour, baking powder, salt, 1 teaspoon cinnamon, and nutmeg, and whisk to combine, which is exactly what I'm doing in this step. And then you're going to set this aside. You may be wondering, Carrie, you haven't posted on here in like 2 weeks. And that is true. Unfortunately, I have just been really busy lately, and so I have made the decision to go to just one video a week. Leave it in the comments down below if you prefer Monday or Friday. I'm gonna do Friday, I think, at least for obviously this video and next week's video. But let me know if there's a specific date that day you guys want the videos posted. So yes, you will see less of me, but this will be better because I'll be able to put more effort into each video, and I think it will be better overall. The schedule can stay more consistent that way. The next step here is to blend together the butter and the sugars on a medium speed until light and fluffy. This takes about 3 to 4 minutes. And it says to use a stand mixer with the paddle attachment. However, I feel like it's so much better when I use the hand mixer in my videos because you guys can more clearly see what I'm doing. So that's what I did here. But if I wasn't being on camera, I'd probably do it in my stand mixer. But either is fine. So because it's fall, I wanted to make these baked apple cider donuts because they're a treat that I love to get at the pumpkin patch, but this year I've been so busy I didn't actually get a chance to go. But they're so delicious. They just have like a hint of like an apple cider flavor, but they're just like covered in sugar and they're so good. They're definitely a treat, but they're worth it. And one thing interesting is that you might say, why would you make baked apple cider donuts into muffins? Well, you'll see that I attempted to make them actual donuts. However, for some reason, the donut pan, the ones that were in the donut pan, they just didn't turn out. Like, I tried to flip them over, but they really wouldn't come out, even though it was a nonstick pan and I sprayed. So I wasn't really sure what was going on there. But I did some mini muffins, and they got so golden, like brown, like really crispy edges, you'll see later, which I was so proud of, and I was so glad that I had this backup plan. So something to know if you're baking and like something doesn't work out, it's gonna be okay. You can make adjustments. Everything doesn't have to be perfect. So yeah, anyway, you just want to mix until it's completely creamed together. Now to this mixture, I'm going to add in the eggs one at a time, and then I'm going to add in the vanilla, but that I'll show in another clip. I personally love apples, and I feel like getting to use them in any way for baked goods is just really fun. I feel like this time of year, like, I think my favorite seasons are probably summer, and then I don't know, I kind of like every season except my least favorite's probably spring. I don't know why. I just feel that way. But anyway, my second favorite is probably fall, like this time of year when at least for me, I'm on the East Coast and it like you see the fall leaves and all this stuff, and I feel like it just gets me into the mood to like want to bake more. And so I had a lot of fun filming this video and this recipe. And I was going to say that this is an apple cider donut, and for next Friday's video, I'm going to be showing everyone how to make a apple pie, minis to be exact. So look out for that in the future. But I don't know, like I love baking with pumpkin stuff is really fun too, and just apple. Just there's a lot of good baked goods that are seasonal to this time of year. And like I said in the last clip, I'm now going to add in the vanilla and then mix again. And then it will be time to add in all the dry ingredients and then finally the apple cider. Like I said, it's time to add in the flour, and I just went ahead and just dumped the whole bowl in. If you think it might get a little messy and you're not quite sure you want to do that, you can just do it in intervals, and yeah, just want to mix it all up. And I do kind of mix it for a while, but then towards the end, I don't know if I showed in this clip, but you do want to make sure that you're going in with a spatula and just making sure that all the flour is incorporated throughout the bowl. Because a lot of times you can even see here in some clips that like there's a little flour bunching up at the bottom, and you just want to get it all incorporated. Another thing you're going to notice is that this dough, see, I almost called it dough because it's that thick. This batter is so thick, but it really thins out once the apple cider is added. It kind of turns into more of like a cupcake consistency at that point. And if you've never made cupcakes before, the consistency is just way thinner than like a cookie. Last but not least, the apple cider goes in. And fun fact, even though these are apple cider donuts, I actually use apple juice, but it was from the brand, I think it's like Simply, like they do like Simply lemonade, Simply whatever juice. So it said Simply apple juice, but like it tasted just like apple cider. So you could use apple juice if you didn't um see apple cider. However, apple cider is just going to be the best, or something that like looks like it, because it just has more of like a, it's not like a refined taste, but it's just more of like a different, more of like a fall vibe to it. But anyway, just mix it all up and just make sure that everything is one. They use this word in the article or whatever recipe, homogeneous. I think that's how you say it. But basically, I like that word a lot. I don't know. I feel like it's like just fun. I don't know. But it means just like everything is completely incorporated. Like everything is so well blended together. And now it is time to fill in the molds. I used a donut pan by filling it, or I filled it by using a cookie scooper and kind of like plopping it in, and then taking a small spatula, or you could use a knife. Just make sure that if you're using a nonstick pan like I was, then you just want to do a plastic knife and not a metal knife, because fun fact, you cannot use metal on a nonstick pan. But it was a little difficult. So my recommendation for this step is to go ahead and take a piping bag, or if you don't have a piping bag, just a Ziploc bag, but make sure that it's kind of like a sandwich bag, a snack bag, not the ones that have like like a almost like two corners on each end. So you'll know what I'm talking about if you have the bag, but you don't want to use that one because you'll have two holes like when you cut a hole. But you can take a bag and then fill it with the batter and then just snip off the end. You don't need a tip or anything, and just fill up the mold. That's tip number one. That makes it so much easier, so much less messy. Tip number two is that um you can see that I filled mine pretty close to the top. I didn't think they were going to rise that much, but they actually did rise a lot. So you just want to make sure that you're not filling yours up completely, like 2/3, 3/4 the way, but not all the way up like I was. And now it's time to pop them into the oven. So the oven's at 350. I'm popping them in, and I'm going to cook them for about 12 to 15 minutes. I started checking after 12. Now the donuts took a while. They took like maybe 18 minutes. So just start checking around 12. If you're using a muffin tin, you can use the exact same amount of time to check. And if you're doing mini muffins, I'd say set a timer for 5 and check every minute after that. 5 is a little early, but maybe 6 or 7. I don't know, something like that. Now, before I continue with this video, please subscribe, leave a thumbs up, comment down below what you'd like to see next, and share this video with a friend. Also, make sure to hit that notification bell so you get notified when I post a new video. Let's continue with the video. So after about 15 minutes, I thought that the donuts were done, so I pulled them out, but then you'll kind of see that they don't really go anywhere because I tried to take them out, but they wouldn't come out, so I ended up sticking them back in, like I mentioned in the clip before, but they look beautiful. They just didn't come out like beautiful from the shells or whatever molds. But as you can see, now we have these mini muffins. And they looked so golden brown. They looked perfect. I was so happy I at least had one product that was beautiful. So I was like, okay, I can work with this. They're adorable, uniform, and let's roll. Now here is a last little like recipe step. So we need to mix together the sugar and cinnamon. This sugar is, I believe it's a half a cup, and it is a teaspoon of cinnamon. Mix it all up. You got cinnamon sugar. And then in another bowl, you're also going to have some melted butter. Now, something that's weird in the recipe is that it says you should melt remaining 6 tablespoons of butter in the microwave. But I was like, 6 tablespoons? Because the recipe calls for a cup, which is 2 sticks, which is 12 tablespoons. And previously it had mentioned to only use 10 tablespoons. So it said 10 tablespoons, which I used in the recipe, and then called for another 6, which would be 16, which is way more than 2 sticks. So I was a little confused. So you're actually going to need more than a cup of butter. You're going to need 2 sticks, maybe 3 sticks, something like that. So that's just something to know. Anyway, as you can see in this clip, basically what you want to do, dunk the little mini muffins in the butter and then coat with the sugar mixture. Just be careful when you mix, because like some of them, like the one I just did, they get a little bit too sugary, and some get like too soaked in butter. So just like a light soaking in butter, and then just like kind of dab on the sugar. Like make sure that not a ton is left over, because those were the ones that I thought were the best. But I know this makes them even more unhealthy, but they just tasted so good. Like you bit into them and you were like got a little bit of butter flavor initially, and then you get the cinnamon and the nutmeg and then the apple cider, and they were just so delicious. And I highly recommend you try out this recipe if you're looking for the perfect fall treat. Plus, like they're so cute and mini and just adorable, and they're a good, like if you had a snack, you could eat these with an apple or like a dessert, something like that. They're so versatile. They're like a great. They're just. I have nothing but good to say about them. And yeah, I just want to repeat this process with all the remaining muffins. And here is the beautiful finished product. They were so delicious and they just look so perfect. And that's it for today's video. Thank you all so much for watching. If you haven't already, please make sure to follow me on Instagram at Cooks by Carrie, because I post lots of fun photos of the food I cook and other updates and sorts like that. If you haven't already, also make sure to subscribe, like, comment down below, turn the notification bell on, and share this video with a friend. I will see you next Friday for the apple pie video. And until then, bye guys.